So going back to making the video, you'd have to install like metal detectors that don't work for metal, but instead like scan brainwaves to see what's going on. Like this, because I know there's detectors for lie detector tests, and like they scan brainwaves and brain activity when a person's lying, or something of the sort. So they have to do something like that as a final resort. I mean, in regards to the safety issue, I don't like. I don't personally like. It's a very complicated issue that has like a very, very large system issues, very massive system issues, and the concept of controlling human behavior and like mind detectors and detecting behavior before it even happens, and then looking for warning signs. I mean, you could be paranoid like a schizophrenic, and you could say the person's alive, so that's a warning sign. Or they have they're like a bull. They have red on them, so they're like attracting attracting to the bull, and the bull like charges. But like really, you're talking about like a machine like learning, you'd have to like hook up like you have to, I don't know, you'd have to like have like like brain detection like 24/7 on individuals, infrared technology. I'm gonna go the other way. Infrared technology, 24/7 monitoring, every X-ray monitoring on brain activity. So unfortunately, like that's the case, and that's what it is. But then again, like the system failed, so it's not humanly actually possible to live in Canada. Canada is a very, very difficult and bad place to live. I mean, I'm sure everybody from the videos can analyze that. I know there's some stipulations, like obviously, like there's stipulations to an individual, like just an individual to that born 2001, that they are not the priority, that they don't really matter, especially if they're from a different country. I understand the stipulation, but again, the video then is not made for them. It's made for other people. Okay, I'm gonna move through here. Video is made for other people. It's not really made for those types of people. It's not made for the ones who can't stomach this stuff. Because I'm only saying this because it's 2026, where people's lives were already ruined. So it's not before, because you wouldn't care to have this conversation. I mean, you'd have to be like nothing matters, and then the conversation like this one starts. Because humanity's battle is uphill, and it's an uphill battle, which is not in the favor of humanity at all. Like you're fighting a pretty harsh, difficult battle. It's not fair at all. It's not fair at all. It's terrible out here, but that's why I make the videos, to warn people like about Canada as the worst place to live. Do not come here. I'm fleeing as soon as I get the degree. It's June, so I have July and August, so it's just 1.5 months left of the program I'm in. Emotionally, it's of course I don't like it. I don't like what happened. I don't like how my emotions weren't taken into account. I didn't get the result I wanted, and it doesn't go back to here. It goes back to one single interaction with my mother. That's all it took to for chaos to erupt and for problems to start. It only told her telling me once no, or to put away the Legos, into a long, painful, arduous journey that we call life. And I mean, these videos, they don't mean anything because, in the year 2026, there's so many crises and my mental health wouldn't be a priority for anyone really. And that's rational. I'm not here to like argue anyone to care about the videos, but the message in the videos is very clear and very objective, because the circumstances isn't such where I have to help people through these videos, through these messages, um, you know, and because families are being torn apart, whether it's because there's an allegation that someone touched someone, or the child touched someone, or there's another random attack or something. This is all Canadian based, so I don't know about America. It works probably differently there, and again, it could be in different states, different systems, but here at least, I'm already explained, like the random attacks won't stop. They will never stop unless if the whole system, reverts, and obviously it goes back to like the Jennifer Pan thing. There was another name I actually didn't mention on the list of people. I think it was Dean Witcher or something. But like I said, it's a long and arduous process of pain, difficulty, problems, and I never wanted to view the world through like video game lens. It's not really appropriate. It's not really nice to commodify people like that. But it's because people commodified me like that. So they were like, oh, he's a cracker or whatever. I'm like, okay, well then I'll just commodify the world, and I'll just be like, okay, so you can quantify, if you're on a vegetarian diet and you're not consuming a lot of things, and you're not Elon Musk, and you're not taking a lot of water to build data centers, you're not the one gonna get hunted down by, I guess, I'm not gonna like, you're the one who's gonna get hunted down by the masses, because you're the one stealing all the resources, like manually. You're stealing the resources. You don't even, you're not even like, you're physically out there manually stealing resources, which is different from the rest of the population, which isn't. Yeah. No, I mean, I think some of these videos can be argued that they're for attention. I mean, I used to search for attention, probably, when I was immature. Now I'm more mature, so I'm hoping I'm better off. I wanted to mention the guy, like again, I get it. It looks cowardly, I'm here. But then again, anyone who's trying to argue with me, or if they have a problem, they'll just approach me, and they already have a problem with me in their mind. They don't need to fucking mention it, So, and I know they have an issue with me because I defended a group of people, and all that. But ultimately, no. Like all these dogmas and all these divisions, some of them are very serious, and I already mentioned existential crises at that point, because then it's like, it is what it is, like, but like, the guy's name, no, because Canada is a postmodern nation, and everybody, did determine their fate, they decide upon a career and so forth, but like, what it boiled down to was like, what it boils down to is the fact of the matter. Like the fact of the matter is just, like, one second, I'm gonna cut through here where there's these cars and there's traffic. Cut through here, go down. I think there's a local forest or something. So, name of the problem, the one that I'm listing. Well, for one, like, I can challenge myself, going to Algonquin College and all that. I mean, that's me personally challenging myself, and I get that, like that was the initial intention, and then that's why I was like, oh, I want to go to Waterloo and all that. But in 2026, it's not really relevant. I'm trying to keep quiet so nobody hears me. Like, I already said, one word, one look, one something, and the tension flares up, and there's issues, there's problems, and nobody wants problems. So I just like I said, yeah, I mean, I wanted to challenge myself. That's why I want to try to Waterloo. But that's like a immature cause. I know in the year 2026, approaching difficult subjects with a bit more maturity. Like yeah, some people say he chose a coward's path. I think that's just desperate response for a desperate time. And also I think a lot of people, they have a lot of folly, they're foolish. And I already know that people, some people, they just don't like me. They don't like me at all. And again, I get it. I understand the mistakes that I made. The thing is, if you eat food, especially meat, and if you eat meat and if you eat meat and you're traveling to all these places and you're living a very lavish life, very with disposable income, the only stipulation is that the Canadian system, because there's no safety net, you can automatically assume there's a person, sleeping outside somewhere, somehow. It could be even in your house, because you don't own your house in Canada. You don't own anything. You don't own anything, and you're happy about that because you live in Kuknadia. I mean, the thing is no country's perfect, but with as much wealth as we have and all that, some of this stuff is pretty disappointing. It's like a watered down version of the watered down version. Again, I deserve it. I don't think the other people do, the actual Canadians. No, I don't think they do. I think, I feel pretty bad, especially considering my mom is just the first gen, so she's not the one who should be, making any of these decisions. I think she's a perfect example of someone who unfortunately, what's it called? I think she's a perfect example of someone who unfortunately, she was naive. I think it's people, anyone can say anything and she automatically pull through it, and because she already failed the first time that person, pulled through the test. And that's why there's so much issues, because, the initial stimulus is gone. The initial, the one word you say, it loses all meaning and all chaos breaks through, and then your mom, pulls through what she pulls through. And I mean, obviously you can blame, decline in morals and values and postmodernism and the modern world being what it is. I can't make judgment on that. It's just, it's extremely sad. And the thing is, there has to be someone who keeps all this knowledge, keeps, verbal knowledge and, basic phrases and interaction points. Because if there isn't anybody who keeps that, then you don't have a functioning society. But no, the stipulation is valid. You know how it is, and unfortunately this is the way things are.